If I never started bodybuilding, I don't see how I could be anywhere near as happy with the current life that I have today. You are the worst at every skill the first day that you try that skill. Yeah, buddy! Oh shit. What is going on, everyone on YouTube? It is great to see you again. We are here for yet another vlog, and today's gonna be cool because we just got to the gym, so it's already a good day. We just got a program update. So we have a bicep, tricep, and rear delt training that's coming up. And after that, what I think would be really cool that we do is if I can just sit down with you guys and have a little chat about why I think bodybuilding is the best thing that could have ever happened to me, and why I think as a sport, for myself personally, it's been such a great asset and has helped my life in so many ways beyond just the ability to build a physique that I'm happy with. So we finished our pre-workout. We are gonna head in right now, and I'll cut to the voiceover for every single exercise. See you in there. What's going on from the post-production crew here at the Shayne Gains YouTube channel? Crew of one person, myself. You're looking at him right here. And we got inclined hammer curls as exercise 1. I'd never even tried this exercise in my 10 plus years of lifting weights. I don't know why I never tried it, but my coach put it on the list as exercise 1, and it feels pretty damn good. Not gonna lie. Kind of creeps up on you, actually. Those first 8 reps aren't too bad, and the last, 6 or so, they're tough, let me tell you. Started with 4 sets of this one before we moved on to a rope hammer curl. So you'll notice here that I kind of start with my hands closer together, and as I pull up, I do kind of separate my hands a little bit. For me personally, I just find it gets me a better contraction into my arm, which you can call the brachialis. That's what the hammer curl is meant to emphasize. 12 to 15 reps here, 4 sets, nice controlled, especially on the eccentric. That's when you're going to get the best amount of growth. Look at me, saying cheese for the camera. My last few reps. Third exercise is going to be a dumbbell single arm preacher curl to emphasize bicep peak. At least that's the thought process behind it. With the bicep being 2 heads, long head and short head, I do imagine that certain angles or exercises will emphasize either the short head or the long head. I don't necessarily know if the preacher curl itself helps it raise in its height. I think just an overall biceps has to increase for that to happen. But here you kind of get a good look at my tattoos on my arm. In fact, the statue of David head with the VR headset kind of looked a little gnarly there if you want to rewind the video. Left arm here is a little bit stronger than the right. That's always been the case in the gym. So you'll see me struggle a little less. Life is good. Moving on to triceps, we're going to go with the overhead rope tricep extensions. This is in my program. I don't necessarily know if I truly enjoy it. I could definitely be having my elbows closer together, but for me, as long as I'm controlling the eccentric, getting a nice good contraction right at the end of every rep. I'm happy with it. These are all kind of 12 to 15 rep ranges for 3 to 4 sets. Second tricep movement is going to be a machine dip. You're going to see that I'll take the neutral grip here, and I'll make an adjustment to not use my chest. You're going to see right in just a moment. I'm going to kind of put myself a little more upright. There we go. That's just going to help me press more through the tricep, as well as thinking of my tricep contracting to get that movement down. Not just trying to think, okay, let me just push this down and get the rep done, but giving myself mental cueing to press through that tricep. Finally, our third tricep movement is an easy bar pullover to press. So we're going to reach down, get a stretch in the long head of the tricep, because tricep being 3 heads and you having a long head, it is the one part of your tricep that actually helps with shoulder extension. So you're going to see it stretches the long head of the tricep, you contract it, and then you drive up for the close grip press. This is actually a pretty tough set because it lasts a long time. Like, this clip it's a good like 90 seconds from what I can remember. But feels really good. Gives you a little stretch. Lee Priest is a big fan of the close grip easy curl bar press for getting his triceps huge. So take what you will with that. And then our one rear delt movement that we have in this program is bent over dumbbell reverse fly. So I do these on a low bench, and I just think about the first half of the movement, because if I were to try to go further, I would really just be squeezing my shoulder blades together. And you're not really hitting much rear delt at that point, so first half of this movement is super important. Thinking about the rear delts contracting, thinking about doing that back double bicep pose, aiming for 15 reps at a time here. Now those are all out of the way, let's get some posing done. Looking good. Post-workout, 25 minutes of Stairmaster later. Today we watched some, honestly, high testosterone movie clips. Typically last stand scenes of a side or main character that are just badass. Today in particular it was some of the Matrix scenes. If you haven't seen The Matrix, you're missing out totally. Along with Dune, the first film, seeing Jason Momoa's last stand against the Sardaukar. So those are some pop culture references that you may or may not have been expecting in today's video. The first time you do any workout for a new program, there's a little bit of a feeling out process because you're just trying to see what it's like. You're not trying to kill yourself on those exercises. You're trying to see what weight you can kind of gauge and start with, and then over those 4 to 8 weeks of the program, try to progressively overload, whether you're adding a little bit of weight for the same amount of reps, or if you're just doing the same weight as last week, but you're doing 1 rep or maybe 2 reps more. We got our shake here, 50 grams carbs, 50 grams protein. We're gonna slam it on the way home, and then once we get there, we're gonna prep our breakfast about an hour later, and then we're gonna get into today's video topic. Catch you guys later. See you soon. We back. Waited about an hour, started some laundry loads, and cooked breakfast. Here at the same breakfast that we usually have, 200 grams egg whites, 2 whole eggs, 2 slices of turkey bacon, and then 2 slices of multi-grain bread with non-salted butter. Transitioned away from using margarine just because of, you know, it not being the best for our health. I would want to expand a bit more on how bodybuilding has helped my life in so many ways beyond just the physical realm. Now, when I started, I was 16 years old, and I just come off of watching the Pumping Iron documentary, and I loved the idea that whatever ideal body or physique you could possibly want, you could get it if you're willing to train consistently with discipline and with intensity. I saw those results starting to come about within the first 3 months of lifting, and from that moment on I was hooked, because there's kind of a feed forward mechanism where once you start seeing results and you get that high and shot of dopamine from it, you kind of just want to keep going, and you want to see like, okay, like, can I get even better at this lift? Can I bench even more? Can I get more development in my legs and my back and my shoulders, etc. But what I really think was important that I didn't necessarily know at the time was that I got really into the idea of continuous progress towards a goal. And I started to find joy within the journey of getting towards that goal. More and more, I find that people kind of start to gravitate towards that end result, and they're like, listen, you know, you want to make $100,000, you want to make $1 million, you got to just do this, and like, you know, not go on vacation and work 80-hour work weeks and grind and grind and grind and grind and grind. And if you're someone who's able to do that, then I applaud you, and I think that's incredible. I had that approach in my life probably up until the age of 24, 25. So we're talking like about 5 years ago. And all it got me was burnouts. And when I got to the results, yes, I got what I wanted, but I totally did not enjoy the whole process of getting there. And in contrast to that, when I focused more on just doing the day-to-day grind and the day-to-day work really well and enjoying that process, it almost didn't matter what the final result was going to be, because I had fun the whole way through, and I met a lot of cool people, and I learned a whole lot about myself and about whatever it is that I was working on. And to be honest, the vast majority of the time I would still get the goal that I wanted, but as a result of the day-to-day enjoyment of what I was going through, whether that was learning a skill, whether that was studying in school, or whether that was training in a gym to push my body and my physique. And so what bodybuilding really taught me was that if there is something that is important to you, that you really want to achieve, let's just say arbitrarily, you want to compete in a show, or you just want to lose 20 pounds of body fat, then A, you have to consistently attack that objective, learn as much as you can about how to get to that goal before you execute your plan, because planning is everything. Execution is just looking at your plan and doing the thing, but making sure that you do that thing the right way is the planning phase. And then 3, you have to be willing to sacrifice the things that will be detrimental to that plan, or that won't necessarily get you towards the end goal that you're writing down as an important goal to you. And so if you can take those 3 factors, you can apply them to any goal that you'll have, whether that is school, if it's trying to get into a program, if it's trying to get a promotion at work. That is a lesson that I was able to learn at probably 17 or 18 years old, and I just applied that through and through the end of my high school years into CEGEP, which is kind of like a school that we have here in Quebec, which is between high school and university. Once I got to university, it was the same thing. It was like, listen, I want to become a physical therapist, I want to work with athletes, and I want to be a physio. I'm willing to study each day because I know that that big end goal is at the end of that long road. I'm going to make notes. I'm going to print out the notes ahead of time. I'm going to read PowerPoint slides the morning of the lecture. And then, you know, I have an exam on a Tuesday. People want to go out partying and drinking on a Friday or Saturday. I'm not going to do it, man. Like, it's as simple as that. It's like if you were dieting down and you're starting to see results, then your friend's like, hey, let's go to this all-you-can-eat food tour that's Friday to Sunday, and just blow your whole progress. Being able to say no to those things is what's really going to differentiate you and help you to get to that goal and that end point. And there is something to be said about being able to say no to those things and being happy to say no to things that are detrimental to your goals. Because at the end of the day, if you do something that's contrary to what you actually want to go through and achieve long term, you're kind of just betraying yourself and you're letting yourself down. Self-betrayal will eat at you over the long term. And if you're continuously putting out goals that you're just not being able to achieve, because you're deciding within your control to do the things that are not going to get you towards it. So living a life that's in line with your goals that you have set will always lead to you feeling happy about the decisions you make, and you'll just be more likely to achieve what you've set out to achieve. Something else that bodybuilding was able to really hammer into my mentality and into my head was the pursuit of continuous improvement. Not everything that you do will be perfect, and not everything has to be perfect for you to know that you're doing a good job. Sometimes we get caught in the cycle of thinking that, well, if I do it and it's not perfect right off the bat, I might not even bother trying. Or you start doing something and something a little bit goes wrong and you just kind of jump ship because things aren't perfectly ideal. Getting better at any skill works like this. You start the skill and you suck. You start going to the gym, you're gonna suck at it. You are the worst at every skill the first day that you try that skill. That's just a hard fact. And that is the beauty of learning anything, is that you will never be as bad as the first day that you do that thing. You're only ever gonna get better, which I think is extremely promising when I start something new or a new project, like, for example, YouTube and recording videos and talking to a camera. You go back to even just like a couple of weeks ago to my first video. You know, I'm speaking to the camera, but I'm not necessarily as comfortable doing it as now, and now I've picked it up. And I knew my first video is probably not going to be the most dynamic and interesting, but it is what it is. You just have to start. Get out there and do the thing, and you're only going to get better. And so with bodybuilding, you know, there's going to be years where you're going to be training and your physique is not going to be where you want it to be. You're going to think, okay, I want to have like 16-inch biceps, and they might be stuck at 14 inches. It's going to take you like 2-3 years to really hit your arms consistently, train, and get there. But if you don't put that time in for the next 2 years, you're just never going to get it. Does that mean you should never try? Of course not. Like, I have over 10 years of training at this point. Maybe the last 3 years have been truly bodybuilding dedicated. And it's only now that I'm seeing the results of all that hard work. If I look back, you know, even 1 year ago today or 2 years ago, there's significant changes, to my eye at least, for someone who wants to go and compete. But I've enjoyed every single step of that. I still look forward every single morning to going to the gym, pushing myself, doing my cardio, doing the food, doing the diet, because it gets me every single step closer to my goal. And if I know that I'm moving towards my goal, moving towards what I want and what I know is going to make me happy and self-satisfied, then why wouldn't I want to do it? You know, there's no suffering in doing the things that you know are going to get you closer to where you want to go. People I talk to are often like, oh man, you got to eat clean, and you know, you can't have junk food, and you got to do cardio and stuff. Yeah, I got to do those things, but can you imagine how happy I'm going to be at the end of it when I see the final result, when I step on stage, when I could potentially medal in a competition, and I know that I've done everything that I can? That is self-fulfillment right there. You can't be upset with the result if you've done everything within your power to tip the odds in your favor. But if you don't achieve your goal, and you know you could have done more, and there were things that you had control over that you messed up on or that you missed out on, that's a terrible feeling. And that's a feeling that you kind of have to live with till you can hopefully retry to get that goal. And sometimes you don't get to retry. There's one takeaway from this whole talk that you guys want to carry with you for today, or for this week, or for this month, or for the year, maybe even for the rest of your life. It is that whatever you decide is important to you to do well in and to be successful in, you need to do everything that is within your control to help yourself get there. Some factors we can't control, like where we're born, the family we have, the genetics that we're made up of, or where we might start out. But we do have control over what we do day to day. We have control of what we do with our time. If you want to be studying a new topic or learning about, you know, bodybuilding and health and diet, or if you want to be scrolling through memes about cats and stuff. Nothing against cats, but you get what I'm saying. Stack the deck in your favor, Do everything that you can do in order to help yourself achieve that goal and be successful in it. And if that's what you do, believe me, no matter what the results, you're going to be happy with yourself and you're going to be a stronger person, more disciplined, and you'll have gone through some great personal growth. But anyway, I'm talking too much. I'm going to finish up this meal and this video is going to be wrapped up as a result. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. It's been great seeing you. I'm really enjoying putting together these videos and showing you kind of like the week-to-week changes in progress as we go through the prep. If you haven't already, I am on Instagram and TikTok. Right here I'll just put the names, shayne.move, really easy handle to follow. And if you like the video, hit like. If you're not subscribed, do subscribe if you want to follow along the journey of prepping for a natural bodybuilding classic physique competition. And let me know in the comments, if there's something in particular that you want to know about in a future video, or something that you would like to see a bit more, whether that's going to be, meal prep or discussions on recovery, whatever it might be. Do let me know and I'll go through it all and we'll talk more in the next video. Take care. Peace out. Bye.